224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking. Of course, I'm talking about Draft Day.
Draft day, draft day, draft day. Draft day is a little over 3 months away, but it's never too early. Never too early to talk about the NFL draft. We are in the midst of the NFL playoffs right now, trying to finalize the last 5 spots, really, basically, after yesterday's games. We are scarily close to finalizing. We will be done with football on the field in literally 3 weeks. It is, it's scary, but hey, at the end of the day, this is what we do. This is what's fun. We move on to draft day, and we are literally a little over 3 months away from the Dallas Cowboys being on the clock. So, again, with the lack of Dante Moore in the draft, we know where Dallas picks. They pick at 12 and 20. I think we obviously caught a break with Green Bay. We all expected the Green Bay pick to be 28, 29, 30, something, maybe 27. We didn't expect 20. Dallas, obviously coming into the season, we expected probably 15 to 17, just outside of the playoffs. We got 12. Again, there are good players in a draft. You will be able to find good players in a draft. But as we all know, as a Cowboy fan, it's not just draft alone. It's free agency. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go with the draft. My guy, Dane Brugler, I always take the beast with me, use it as a reference because there's no one better in the business than Dane from The Athletic. My prescription is on auto renew because Dane puts the time in. Sometimes you just got to say, hey, man, he knows the stuff. So this is Dane Brugler's, basically his attempt, and we're going to go over it pick by pick in the first round, of what he has post Dante Moore. Now, before we get into it, quickly from a Dallas standpoint, you're looking edge rusher. You're looking safety. I mean, in a perfect world, the Caleb Downs will drop to you in a perfect world, right? I mean, that would be the perfect scenario, but again, the likelihood of Caleb Downs dropping to you is slim to none. But let's get right into it here. Let's get into it. We're going to switch cameras here. Boom, bang. All right. All right, here we go, everybody. Here we go. Las Vegas Raiders, Fernando Mendoza. Again, this is the easiest possible scenario. This is what you expect. Now, number 2, we did have Dante Moore going to the Jets. The Jets now take Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese seems to be dropping a little bit, just in his tail off of the end of the year. Didn't have a huge bowl game, but a lot of that has to do with coach and scheme. So Arvell Reese will be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Arizona Cardinals, Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah. Smart move. Arguably the best tackle in this group. He will go in and start day 1 at right tackle. Tennessee Titans, Carnell Tate. Again, he's the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. Now, from a Dallas standpoint, we are 8 picks away. Dante Moore is no longer in the mix. Who is going to jump up? What players are going to be taken away from Dallas? We need multiple wide receivers to be taken. I would like to see 3. I don't believe 3 will go before Dallas picks at 12. Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson should go. And Mekhi Lemon, that's the 3rd. We'll see. Pick what flavor you like. But the number 5, Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. With Fano off the board, I think the Miami, Francis Muagoa, I actually have him as my best the offensive lineman over Fano. I would go Muagoa, but Jordan Tyson is not a bad option either. Just remember, their wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, suffered the ACL, will not be ready for the start of the season, I don't believe. I think they need to take it slow with Malik, but you need another piece there. So I wouldn't argue it. I would still say go offensive line. Regardless, Jordan Tyson should be off the board prior to Dallas picking at 12. Cleveland Browns, Francis Muagoa, probably not saying his name right, Maigoa. Again, he's mammoth. He's a big dude. My favorite lineman in this draft. Number 7, Washington Commanders, David Bailey, edge. That would be the perfect pick for the Dallas Cowboys, okay? I would think if they don't go Bailey, they're going to go Caleb Downs. They did take secondary help last year. So with, I think it was Trey Amos. Yes, Trey Amos. He's not a safety. Caleb Downs. Again, Caleb Downs would be the ideal pick for the Dallas Cowboys. They go my favorite edge in the draft, David Bailey out of Texas Tech, right down the street. Washington hits us hard with this one. Number 8, New Orleans Saints, Jeremiah Love. Interesting. Again, Jeremiah Love is a dynamic running back. Will he go 8? Interesting. I don't know. New Orleans Saints, Dane has him going. I could see Caleb Downs going, but now you got to start thinking if you're a Dallas Cowboys, right? Where is a Caleb Downs going to drop to? The Saints go Love at 8. 9, Kansas City Chiefs. They take Caleb Downs. The rich get richer, really. This guy is a Derwin James, okay? This is who the Dallas Cowboys need. Just looking at it, if you wanted to trade up, you need to get ahead of the Chiefs going by this mock draft. That would be number 8. I don't know that if they really wanted Jeremiah Love, he'll probably be there at 12. So the number 8 spot is 1,400 points. Dallas is at number 12 spot. That's 200 points. So to move up, we would owe them at least 200 points. So you're looking at, we're not giving up our, we could give up. We could give up next year's number 2. Next year's number 2 will definitely be, number 2, if you had the first pick in the draft, number 2 at this point is 580 points. So mid-rounds next year is about 370. It's still a big overpay. You could give up a number 2 next year. You swap, you go from 12 to 8, you give up a number 2 next year. That should get it done. You may have to throw in a comp 5 and overpay, a big-time overpay. But if you really want Caleb Downs, and I would call a Kellen Moore at that point. I would call Kellen Moore. And again, 1,400 points is for the number 8th pick. Number 12 was 1,200. We owe them at least 200 points to make the trade even. You don't normally do that. You normally lose the trade if you're moving up. Just, for shits and giggles, next year's 48th pick, which is mid-pack, is worth 420. So that's a double overpay. So even it's towards the bottom, the last pick, Dallas wins Super Bowl next year. we're all ecstatic. That pick is worth 270 points. The last pick in the second round. So you could give up a second round pick to move up, in my opinion. You may have to sweeten it with a fifth. That's up to you. I'm fine with it. To go up and get Caleb Downs. This is only in the scenario where New Orleans is on the clock and a Caleb Downs is still there. Obviously, if New Orleans is drafting Downs, you're going to have to tell them who you're taking. And, again, New Orleans would be smart to do that. Dallas obviously will be very smart as well. So keep that in mind. It's not a big a jump if Downs drops to 9 in this scenario. Chiefs take Downs. Bengals, Reuben Bain. Again, a short-armed beast. Again, Dallas would be thrilled if Bain was on the clock there. He is a instant plug-and-play guy. He wreaks havoc, and that's what we got to do, especially since we traded Micah. Reuben Bain would be great. Number 11, Jermod McCoy. This is a interesting one here. He is going to fly up the charts. He will most likely be the first cornerback taken off the board, and he did not play college football last year because of an ACL. He's going to kill it at the combine. His stock will continue to rise. Interesting pick. Very interesting pick here. Just to pull him up here. Let's bring him up. McCoy, 5'11", 193. Jermod McCoy is a front runner to challenge for CB1 in the 2026 draft. In this scenario, he does go number 1 overall. As far as the corners. Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. Who does Dane Brugler have them taken? Sonny Styles. Yes, Sonny Styles. I have people texting me saying they're going to trade up with Dallas pick at 20 to go get Styles. Styles will be nowhere near that. Styles is another workout beast. Again, 6'4", 240 pounds, 4'5" speed. Styles is a freaking nature. He doesn't miss tackles. As a Cowboy fan, that's all we saw was missed tackles last year. Again, this reminds me, we were just talking about it. This reminds me of back with Bill Parcells. He was fighting for Sean Merriman. Mark Hutchton, this is for you, brother. He was fighting for Sean Merriman. Steroids owned. We had a good career, but the front office, who's the scouting department, insisted on taking one DeMarcus Ware. This is where Dallas needs to listen to Will McClay, have one voice, so we know who to blame or who to credit. There's too many hands in a cookie jar. Just stick and pick. If that's the way it goes, these are the guys you're going to have on the board. This is something that you could talk about. I mean, who's going to be at the board here? On the board. You're going to look at Sonny Styles. You're going to look at Mansour Delane. Okay. I don't know if Mansour Delane is the type of guy that they like. Mansour Delane, 6', 187. He probably has the best skills in the draft. I'm not in love. Again, I think we all know where we need help. We need help in a lot of areas. Where are they going to go in free agency? This is all part of it. But the Rams take Mansour Delane right after us. Again, that's a great pick for them. But if it's me, it would be hard for me not to take Styles there. There are other linebackers, but now you're limiting yourself, and hold that thought. Number 14, the Ravens go Vegalone, the guard for Penn State. People think he's going to be around for the Giants with their second pick. I don't believe so. I believe he is a very, very good player, very powerful in small spaces. I could see that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Keldrick Falk. There's a name. If he slips to 20, think about the Dallas Cowboys, assuming the edge rushers, Bain and Bailey, are gone. Keldrick Falk, he's a massive, he's like 6'6", 270. Again, I want to see him I want to see him at the combine. I mean, a lot's going to be made with him. He has the prototypical size to stop the run, but sometimes underperforms. As Dane says, he reminds me of Michael Williams. Did we hear a lot of Michael Williams last year? So, again, Falk, big upside, but not always jumping off of the screen. Makai Lemon, we need him. In a perfect world, 3 go before 12. I don't see 3 going before 12. This is kind of how I see it as well. New York Jets. Now, we know the Jets already took. Who did the Jets take? The Jets already took Arvell Reese. So they're going to get edge rusher Arvell Reese. And then they go with wide receiver Makai Lemon. I can't argue with that. That'll be a nice tandem with Garrett Wilson. Moving to number 17, Caleb Lomu. Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle, the second offensive tackle by Utah. He may be more ready to go now, but the ceiling, I believe, is a Spencer Fano. The Lions need it. That's a fine pick. This next pick is very interesting. Kenyon Sadiq. I thought maybe he would last for the Eagles. Would the Eagles take him? I think the Eagles will go into free agency. There's some guys out there that we could talk about at a later date that I think they're going to go for. But Kenyon Sadiq goes to from the University of Oregon. Primetime Phil's alma mater, goes to the Vikings. Carolina Panthers, Peter Woods, defensive tackle. He's a beast. Again, Dallas isn't in the market for a defensive tackle. This is a good thing, at least in round 1. Dallas Cowboys, Avion Terrell at the number 20th pick. Now, does that name sound familiar? Well, his brother, A.J. Terrell, is a corner with the Atlanta Falcons. Here's the deal, everybody. Who will Dallas hire as their defensive coordinator? And will they want a smaller cornerback? Let me read you the comp with Avion Terrell. Okay, let me just read you the comp. He's 5'11", 180, 180-pound corner, right? Avion Terrell aims to keep both his school and family legacy alive. The younger brother of former Clemson great and Falcons starter A.J. Terrell, Avion has carved out his own place. Let's see. He nabbed his first career pick as a true freshman in 2023 and flourished with 58 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, a sack, 2 INTs, 12 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries in 2024. As a prospect, the younger Terrell may not be regarded as highly as his brother, as he's smaller and not as fast at the top end, and still prone to being out physical at times. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of the guy that Dallas Cowboys are still upset that they let go in Jordan Lewis. So if I told you that we would get a Jordan Lewis, a clone, dude is so physical. For his size, he is so physical. That's what he thrives on, is being physical. Now, they say, well, obviously, he's not a big guy, so he's got it against the bigger receivers, he's going to have an issue. But he plays very physical for his size. He does. Avion Terrell, would you be okay with that? Now we'll continue and we'll see who's on the board still. Pittsburgh Steelers, Ty Simpson makes a lot of sense. Smaller guy, 6'2"-ish. Again, I like him. Maybe the best pure passer outside of Mendoza. I kind of liked him better than Dante Moore. I just think he's more pro ready. But Dante Moore's not there. When will Ty Simpson go? This is a likely spot. Chargers, Brandon Cisse. This is a guy where Dallas, if they're picking at 20 and they haven't taken Mansour Delane, this is a guy who fits their mold a little better. 6 foot, 190, South Carolina. They may like Cisse over Terrell, and that's going to depend on solely upon who the defense coordinator feels comfortable with. Number 23, the Philadelphia Eagles, Caden Proctor. Again, they sit and get the best mammoth right tackle in the game. I'm not sure where they're going to have him. Yeah, there you go. They're saying, Dane's saying, start at guard, will take over for Lane Johnson. Again, Caden Proctor, if he falls to the Eagles at 23, this is a perfect fit. Jeff Stoutland's Alabama, it's a marriage made in heaven. Cleveland Browns, KC Concepcion, wide receiver, Texas A&M. Chicago Bears, Caden McDonald, defensive tackle, Ohio State. Ohio State just loaded. Buffalo Bills, Cassius Howell, edge, Texas A&M. Love Cassius Howell. He just is a machine, but he's going to get dinged for his arm length and a few other things. But Cassius Howell is, I ain't going to say it. He reminds me a little bit like Von Miller. Maybe a little bit smaller arms. San Francisco, offensive tackle, Monroe Freeling. Houston Texans, Caleb Banks, defensive tackle, Florida. And 28, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, safety out of Toledo. Love this player. 29, Akeem Messidor, Miami's edge rusher. Really like this player. He's 25 years old coming out of the draft. I don't care if you're a team like Dallas who wants to get back into the winning and you're not just, I wouldn't have a problem with his edge. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with his age. Listen, depending on what they do in free agency, if they go out and get their linebackers, right? Maybe you take a corner and then Messidor at 20 for the Cowboys. Again, he'll turn 25 in April. So 31, C.J. Allen. This is the other guy I was talking about. If you don't go Sonny Styles, you could come back with a fallback with C.J. Allen out of Georgia. If the Eagles wanted Sonny Styles, C.J. Allen is a Georgia guy, fits in the mold of the Eagles, will come in as a day one starter, more physical, not as athletic. But I think for the Eagles, Drew, I think C.J. Allen would fit you better if you really wanted. I like Caden Proctor to you guys better than C.J. Allen. I think you invested your first round last year with a linebacker. So C.J. Allen, maybe Dallas takes him at 20. But if he's still on the board at 31, this is an absolute steal. Sorry. Seattle Seahawks, Colton Hood, cornerback, Tennessee. That wraps up Dane Brugler's first round draft. Again, Dallas Cowboys, they end up, not the worst thing. Dallas ends up with Avion Terrell. Again, I don't know about that one. I would love for them to go out in free agency and get some corners. And they end up with, obviously, Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles, Avion Terrell. But if I'm looking at that draft, hear me out, people. We already said you would probably have to really sweeten the pocket the pot to go up 4 spots. We already said a second-round pick next year is more than enough, but people don't want to wait a year. You go from 12 to 8. You give up a 5th-round pick this year and a 2 next year. That will definitely get it done. Absolutely, no doubt, get it done to go up ahead. Only if Downs is still on the clock. You know he's not going to make it past Kansas City and where Eric Berry was drafted. So, I mean, you understand. So let me know. Would you make that trade? So if you get the Caleb Downs at 8, you still have your 20 pick. You could go Messidor, edge rusher. You could go C.J. Allen. You could go with a corner. You could go safety in a corner. It seems like Dallas Cowboys are bringing in a lot of defensive guys who specialize in the secondary. Okay, if you go get a Jim Leonard, he is going to want a safety because he was a safety. Dallas doesn't really have a true all over the field safety. Caleb Downs. I don't know the Caleb Downs. If he lasts to 8, I am on the phone. Now, if New Orleans wants Caleb Downs, fine, you have him. I can't. It is what it is. If they're not taking Downs, Love's going to be there at 12 for him. It makes perfect sense to move up. You give up a 5 this year and a 2 next year. Now you're cooking with gas. Let me know what you think. Do you like my plan? All right, everybody, that's it. Talk to everybody later. And again, a little over 3 months away from hearing that ding. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock.